I can break down my life since the beginning of quarantine, since moving out, into a cycle. To begin with, there is a euphoric, even manic desire to get things done. That can continue for maybe 5 to 6 days, and during that time I feel as though I'm making real progress. I feel a real sense of my own power. But then there comes a point when I give in to temptation, and following that, there's a period equally as long, if not longer, of nothingness, of being and doing nothing, of just wallowing away in my own self-pity. And then after that point, there'll come a time when I'm injected with this same manic inspiration, and the cycle continues. I'm just upset about the fact that there's no continuity, there's no consistency. And I think there's some basis for that. Towards the end of one of these cycles, I came back to a book. And that book was Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. If you haven't read it, you're missing out big time. But I'll give you a brief synopsis, just a few seconds. It depicts a dystopian future where a lot of the pillars of society that we deem normal right now are gone. There are no fathers, there's no mothers, because people are born in test tubes. There is no such thing as monogamy, because everyone belongs to everyone. But most importantly, there is the idea of soma. Soma is the universal drug handed out by the government in this society that relieves people of any kind of discomfort or pain. It's called a holiday. And if I really think about it, I take soma on a regular basis, you know. My phone is soma. And that's not coming from the place of your mother or father saying, get off that phone, go outside and meet real people. I love the internet. In fact, it's probably more than that. I've grown up with the internet. It's raised me to a certain degree. And going back to Brave New World and the idea of soma brought me back to the problem I keep going back to and back to and back to again and again. Perfectionism. At the moment I'm reading Neurosis and Human Growth by Karen Horney, and I have to tell you, it's a very painful read, because again and again, Horney destroys my illusions. The basic premise of her book is that the neurotic forms an idealized self, a godlike image of himself, a being that is above mere mortals and free from any of the inconveniences and accidents that inevitably occur in life. One of the effects of the image of the idealized self is pride. He takes pride in the attributes of his imagined self that he does not actually have in reality. But on the other face of the neurotic coin is self-hatred, because again and again the idealized self and the realities of the world are in conflict. And again he perceives himself to be below the idealized self in his capacities. And that's what I've come to. The most evil manifestation of perfectionism doesn't concern a creative project. It concerns the perfection of self. Really unconsciously, I've lived a lot of my life with the assumption that when things go right, they go as they should. And when things go wrong, there is injustice. In Brave New World, I always find myself coming back to a certain passage in the book. It's a conversation between two characters. The first is called the Savage. He is basically what we as readers are bound to identify as. He was born outside of the walls of this clean, pristine society, and he is the person who looks in with an objective view. The other person in this conversation is Mustafa Mond. He is a person of high authority within the society, and he knows what's going on. He knows the philosophical implications of what's going on. And so you have a discussion between two sides. The Savage asks, in this society, What has happened to heroes? What has happened to Shakespeare? What has happened to great art? It's been sterilized. Mond answers, boy, there's no need for heroism. We have Soma. Everything is laid out in front of you. And if the least bit of anxiety were to hinder you, take Soma. There is no need for all of these emotions. A desire to create and to think about life. You don't need all of these things because they result in societal instability. The savage replies, but what if I need love and truth and virtue and God? What if I want all these things? Mond says, before the establishment of this society, there was pain, there was death, there was anguish, as well as art. But now, we're comfortable. You feel good, there's no pain, you don't have to suffer anymore. The savage proclaims, give me pain, give me suffering, give me cancer, give me disease, give me impotence. I'll take it all. If it means that I can aspire to love, truth, virtue, and all the things that make life meaningful. Mond finishes by saying, well, savage boy, you are claiming the right to be unhappy, aren't you? The savage says, yes, I claim the right to be unhappy. What is he saying? What is the savage saying when he says, I claim the right to be unhappy? I thought about this and I think I got it. He's claiming his humanity. In saying I claim the right to be unhappy, he is saying I am human. And so in acting this out, I aspire towards the highest of highs. But the moment I experience any kind of anxiety, I take Soma. And the fabric of the world says to me, if you are not willing to endure the lowest of lows, you have no right to experience the highest of highs. And so I sit there, and I think to myself, can you say the same thing as the savage? Don't just mouth the words, don't just appear as if you believe it. Do you actually believe it? And time again I say yes. Yes, I think I'm willing to do that. But again and again I fail. And I fall flat on my face. And it's not just necessary failing. There's an error when it comes to what I'm striving towards. I think I have to take the first step towards self-compassion. So I shouldn't be perfect. I should be kind. To others, yes, of course. But to myself.